Welcome in along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo. This is your Buffalo Bills NFL Draft Recap, all powered by PFF Edge and Elite. All right, Mike, the Bills sitting there at number 9 overall. Ultimately, they get two guys with PFF top 32 first-round type of grades, starting with Ed Oliver at number 9. A lot of rumors that he was the guy, and I think it's a really nice fit for that defensive scheme that's dependent on a lot of four-man pressure.
Yeah, no more Kyle Williams there on the interior, and then you have Harrison Phillips and Star Lotulelei, which they're not rushing the passer. They're not getting up the field, whether it's versus the run or the pass. They're just not penetrators. Ed Oliver, a born penetrator, he will be living in opponents' backfield soon enough at the NFL level. He's not a polished product by any means, but you bet on athletes that rare, like Ed Oliver. Put him at 3 technique, and I think you'll have your best interior pass rusher by far there for the Bills.
There are still some question marks with Oliver. We graded every single snap of his, right? Mm-hmm. And we've got 3 years of elite run defense grades, meaning he can penetrate and disrupt and finish plays. Questionable pass rush grades, but be sure, Bills fans, to go check out my Ed Oliver breakdown. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of his alignment. He was playing zero tech, head up on a nose tackle, not in a great position to rush the passer. But he still has technique issues. It's not all blame the scheme. He still has some things to work out to be the Aaron Donald projection people are giving him.
Yeah, he doesn't use his hands extremely well, doesn't have a lot of pass rushing moves, and there's the worrisome thing of he has very short arms for the position, under 32 inches, which you just, on the interior, it's easier to control opposing offensive linemen. It's easier to maneuver and execute those moves when you have 34-inch arms. Guys like Dexter Lawrence, Jerry Tillery in this class have 34-inch arms, have that length to control offensive linemen. When you're at 31 inches, you're probably losing that first contact interaction, which is going to be a concerning. That's probably the biggest knock against him in this draft.
I'll say, though, his movement skills are spectacular. Mm-hmm. He moves like a defensive back, the way he is agile and stops and cuts. So hashtag fun to watch for Bills fans. And then the second top 32 player that they got, Cody Ford, in the second round. We called him a guard/tackle out of Oklahoma. Probably ends up at guard, but they needed to shore up the offensive line even more than they did in free agency, and it's a really nice fit for them early in the second round.
Yeah, he's a power football player. I think he could have held up at tackle because of how adept he is at understanding his angles, keeping his relation with the man across from him. But I think that'll just as easily translate at the guard position, where his change of direction ability or lack thereof won't be nearly as big of an issue. So I think you're getting a plug-and-play type of guard that they definitely need there on the right side.
2 third-round picks to try to add weapons to the offense. Devin Singletary from Florida Atlantic, Dawson Knox from Ole Miss. When you look at Singletary, forcing missed tackles as well as any back not named David Montgomery in the nation the last 2 years. So that's intriguing. Not the best athlete in the world, but a guy, if everything else is around him, you put him one-on-one, he can make guys miss. And then Dawson Knox, very athletic, tight end, can do some things in space, but just unpolished as a receiver.
Yeah, Devin Singletary is interesting because the way he moves is reminiscent of someone like LaShawn McCoy, in that he'll just be in one spot and then he'll all of a sudden be 2 feet to the right of him in a blink of an eye, and you don't know how he does it. That's just innate cutting ability that some running backs have, others don't. It didn't show up in his testing numbers. He's not elite straight line speed. He is not anything special in the 3-cone or the short shuttle, that sort of thing, but I'm not going to lie to you, his cutting ability is next level. He is very good in that regard. He will break tackles at the NFL level. May not add much to the pass game, only 6 catches this past season, but as a running back, I love his vision, love that tackle breaking ability.
And I think just the Bills need playmakers, and if they use Dawson Knox more than they used him at Ole Miss, you might be able to unlock a little bit of that athletic ability at tight ends. The other, I think, most intriguing day 3 pick, Voshon Joseph, the linebacker out of Florida, needs to cut down on the million missed tackles that he had, but a lot of playmaker ability. He was all over the field for the Gators.
Yeah, his high end is incredible. He makes some plays that you say, wow, I can harness this. He would be close to that Devin White level of playmaking ability at the linebacker position, but his low end is the highest missed tackle rate of any linebacker in this draft class.
It wasn't a million. It was only 34 over the last 3 years, 30 over the last 2 years. Not a million.
But the rate was the highest in the nation. He just is not good at wrapping up in space. Yet still undersized. I think still filling out his frame was. He came out of the draft early. He came out of college early. So a lot to like in terms of what he could be. Again, we saw some of it on tape, but right now he's probably a backup at best.
Jawan Johnson, the safety out of Miami, another box-type safety, I'd say, at the next level that graded well for us, but limited.
He's just a limited athlete and a little undersized, but he'll come up and try. tackles a lot better than Vosean Joseph. He is a guy who's going to be able to, he plays a lot bigger than his listed size, but definitely just a limited athlete down there at the bottom of the draft.
I think when you look at the Bills draft, a lot of picks that are just slotted pretty much where they should be. So I think they did a nice job adding good football players at positions of need. The Buffalo Bills, the full recap is over at ProFootballFocus.com.